it is very likely that when you're first learning how to graph and write equations for circles on a coordinate plane, circles, okay, you're going to be given questions like this, where you're being asked to find the center and the radius of the circle represented by the equation below. So you'll be given an equation, and all your teacher's asking you to do is find the radius and find the center of each one of those circles. Why do we ask those, and why do we have you do them in repetition? Because those are the two important pieces of information that must be known in order to write an equation in standard form for a circle. Okay, so we want you to get the hang of it. Get used to noticing, well, this one says +6, this one says -4. What does that plus and minus mean in regards to your point for your center? It's a very important piece of information you have to understand and know so that you can quickly graph those circles out and not have to think about them too hard. All right, so here's your standard form for a circle. X minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals radius squared. R is our radius, k is our y value for the center of the circle, h is our y or our x value for the center of the circle. Okay, so when we see minus and minus, we know that it's supposed to say that. So if all of a sudden it says +6, what that tells you is that the 6 value, the value of 6 here for my h, it's got to be negative. The only way that minus h becomes plus h, like it does here, is if 6 was a negative value. Okay, here it says -4, so that's going to be a +4 for your y value. So +6 means it's actually -6. -4 means it's actually +4. It's the opposite of what you're going to see in the given equation. So let's do this. Let's write out our center. We'll give it as a xy coordinate. And then we'll tell the radius, which comes from this number right here. Okay, so +6 means it's the opposite, -6. -4, which means it's the opposite, +4. So -6,4 is where you'll find the center of the circle if you were to graph this equation out. And the radius, however, radius has got to be equal to that number you see right here, but we got to take the square root of it. Remember, because r over here is being squared. So we've already squared the value of r and got 169. So what number times itself makes 169? 13. So we know the center of this circle, if graphed out, would be at -6,4 with a radius of 13. That'd be a pretty large circle on a graph. Okay, now over here, -5 plus 9. Again, we're going to list out the center. Take a second and think about it before you give your answer. It says -5, it's supposed to say minus, which means that this is a positive value. So 5, and then my y value for my coordinate is +9, which means we got to give the opposite, -9. So the center is at 5, -9, which would be down in the fourth quadrant of the graph. And then 196, our radius is not 196. Our radius is going to be 196 with the square root of that value. So what is the square root of 196? What number times itself makes 196? We know that that is 14. So we can find the center by just stealing those two pieces of information given the opposites. It says -5, we give +5. It says +9, we give -9. Same up here. It says +6, we gave -6. It says -4, we gave +4. And then the radius, as you can show here, the radius, we just took the square root of these values. Square root of 169 is 13. Square root of 196 is 14. Now you have all the information you need if you were being asked to go and graph that thing on a coordinate grid. Hopefully this makes sense. Study hard and good luck on your upcoming test.